What's up, guys? Ben Schneider here. A little bit of a different video for you guys right now. I've got to come on here quickly and just get something off my chest. You know, I hate making this video. I really do. Because I'm telling you, there are a lot of great people at NBC and NBC Sports, and I'll still maintain to this day, Lee Diffie is one of my favorite play-by-play guys, not just in motor racing, but in all of sports. And I think Townsend Bell does a good job in the booth as well. But from a production standpoint, I've never seen a more incompetent job from NBC than I saw this afternoon. Now, I know you had the red flag. I know the race ran long, but where was the post-race coverage? Like, I'm seriously asking, if somebody found the post-race coverage, I would love to know how you got it. Because I only got it through Twitter. I saw clips posted here and there from the IndyCar and NBC account, from other accounts that had just recorded the screen off their phones. I don't know where it was. I mean, if somebody knows, please let me know in the comments, because I still have no idea where it was. In the app, when you went into the NBC Sports app, which I did on my Roku, I went in and logged in and I looked at the IndyCar listing and it said coverage is concluded. So I figured, well, okay, maybe they pushed it to the IMSA listing because the IMSA race is about to start and there was nothing there. It said coverage will begin shortly. So obviously you had the red flag. NBC was supposed to be airing diving at this point. So there's no post-race coverage. Ericsson hadn't even gotten back around to complete the cooldown lap by the time NBC cut away. Diving was still airing on CNBC at that point. So now you've got diving on both networks. And then I went to NBCSN to see what was on NBCSN. Mecum Auto Auctions was on NBCSN. You're telling me you couldn't have bumped off Mecum Auto Auction? I mean, I don't really follow Mecum. I assume it was a replay. I assume it wasn't live. But Mecum was on NBCSN. You're telling me you couldn't have preempted that for post-race coverage to lead into the IMSA race that you're scheduled to broadcast on NBCSN anyway? I mean, it's just, I don't understand how this can happen. I mean, IndyCar and NBC even tweeted that the post-race coverage was online and on the app, and they had to delete the tweet because it wasn't. I mean, it simply was not there. Or if it was hiding in some obscure listing that nobody could seem to find. When you had a storyline, I mean, I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm more upset about NBC than I am about the red flag, but I am upset about the red flag. I think it was completely unnecessary. I think it completely screwed Power out of a win, or at least a top 2 or 3 finish. I would have liked to have seen, maybe they could have gotten 2 or 3 laps of green flag racing in, or you just end the race under yellow, but that's a rant for another time. You had all this going on. You had Will Power, who was rightly furious about what had happened to him, about the decision to go red and then restart the race. You had a first-time winner in Marcus Ericsson, who hasn't won in, I don't know, I think they said on the broadcast, any race in 10 years. I think some people were saying it's 8 years, but whatever. A really long time. Gets his first IndyCar win, and there's nothing. There's no post-race coverage whatsoever. It's unbelievable to me. And you know, I remember everybody was excited about NBC taking over the full schedule because the general consensus seemed to be that their coverage was at another level, a little bit better than what we saw, especially toward the end of the ABC ESPN run. Alan Bestwick's obviously a great play-by-play guy, but again, I'm talking more from a production standpoint. Everybody was excited for NBC to do the full thing. And I think people have to be careful what they wish for. Because I think you see it in NASCAR also with the Truck Series. You know, everybody likes to get on Fox's case and criticize them, but I think their truck coverage is even a little bit weaker than their Cup and Xfinity coverage. And I think one of the reasons for that is they have the entire Truck Series season. So when you are the exclusive broadcaster of a series, you have no competition. You have no standard against which to measure yourself, to try to better yourself. And that's the problem that I think NBC has run into now. It's their 3rd season being the exclusive TV partner of the IndyCar series. And I've heard CBS can't do it because they have a major contract with the PGA, and I understand that. I know CBS Sports Network isn't even at the level that NBCSN is at, and NBCSN's going away at the end of the year, so I understand it would be a tough ask. But I really hope that somebody reconsiders or somebody thinks about getting back into IndyCar coverage, because what I'm seeing now from NBC, I mean, if today is any indication, because I thought the Indy 500 coverage was great. I really did. I think NBC really wants to get the Indy 500 again next year and 2022 and beyond. I think they want to renew the contract. But it seems to me that everything outside of the 500 has turned into an obligation for them. When the post-race coverage for the first race immediately after the 500 is unfindable and therefore unwatchable, especially after the finish and all the storylines, all the coverage that needed to be talked about, when you can't find it anywhere, when it's not available anywhere, that's unacceptable. And again, like I said at the start, I hate calling out NBC because I know there are some great people at NBC, but somebody on the production team needs to be fired because today was unacceptable, and I really, really hope today is a wake-up call for NBC because this can't happen again. So that's just me kind of getting on my soapbox here because I feel like I have to say something. You know, people are going to say that I'm bitching and moaning about something relatively insignificant, and you know what? Maybe I am, but ultimately, if nobody calls the network out on it when they're not doing their job, it's only going to get worse from here. So I'm going to be that voice. I'm going to sit here and say, we can't keep doing this. You know, there are people that are invested in this series, invested in telling these drivers and team stories and getting this coverage, and they rely on the television coverage to make that happen. And you have to be there. You have to at least give that, like, I don't like when it gets bumped all the way to the app as a last resort, but we didn't even have that today. It has to be at the bare minimum on the app. It has to be somewhere accessible, easily accessible for people to get these stories, to get these quotes, to get the reaction from not just Marcus Ericsson, not just Will Power, but from, you know, everybody. If there's no post-race coverage, the post-race to me is almost more important than the pre-race because all these storylines are fresh in everybody's mind and they've just unfolded. You've got to get the reactions from everybody. And it was impossible to do that today. So I'd love to get your guys' thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm overreacting? Were you able to find the post-race coverage? That's my main thing. If you were able to find live coverage of post-race from IndyCar Detroit today, wherever it was, please let me know in the comments. Because I sat on my NBC Sports app for a solid 10 minutes trying to find something to watch the post-race, and there was nothing there. So if you found it, please let me know. Again, I know it's a little bit of a different video. Hope you guys are doing well, having a good weekend. I'll talk to you all soon. Have a good day, everybody.